I am no longer willing to offer up my life for any more industries, and the plastics industry must be stopped with no exceptions.
Do you want to end all plastic manufacturing?
I said the plastics industry must be stopped.
So does that mean end plastic manufacturing?
I mean, in my dream world, sure.
Well, I would suggest you maybe doing your homework a little bit more when you come up here and you start talking about this stuff, that you actually understand what it is, the impact that you're talking about. Ms. Bradford, in your testimony, did I understand you right? Do you want to end all plastic manufacturing?
I said the plastics industry must be stopped.
So does that mean end plastic manufacturing?
I mean, in my dream world, sure. But I think that, go ahead.
No, so I don't mean to be condescending here. I just point out, what's going to replace your glasses? Like,
So
how
I
would you wear
do
your
know,
glasses around your face? They're made of plastic.
maybe.
No,
I don't know what they're made out of.
They are. What about, and I just point out some things here, because I just want to be realistic when we're having conversations, because when statements are made like this, I just want to open people's eyes and say, well, okay, that's easy to say, but what's the solution? Your water bottle in front of you.
This one?
Yes. That plastic?
No.
The lid is. That's plastic.
Right. So
Right.
I would say to your
cell phone-
question that I would first be concerned about single-use plastics, and then we can talk about alternatives to this.
Your cell phone there. Is it plastic?
The cases, but it's glass because I broke
The components
the
inside of it's
screen
not
yesterday.
plastic? The components made out of it's not plastic? They are. The water that you filled that water bottle up with, where'd you fill that water bottle up out of?
A water filling station.
All right, and it was delivered by a drink station that was plastic?
I didn't check.
The edges are. The piping coming to it. Now, you have a couple of choices with the piping. We could go back to using wood, but then you have to line it in chemical. Or we could go back and use lead, because we used to have water piping that was lead. That was harmful to us. We go back to galvanized, but galvanized rust and had discoloration. We go back to copper, but copper has to be mined, and everybody wants to stop mining in the U.S. So you use plastic to deliver piping that you fill that water bottle up with today. I point this out because the clothes you have on, I guarantee you have plastic in it. The shoes you have on your feet, the soles of those shoes are plastic. So we talk about any plastic manufacturing, and everybody in here cheers when you say that, but everybody here is depending on plastic as you set. So if you want to end it, then quit using it. It's kind of like, I don't shop at certain places right now because I don't agree with some of their policies. I choose not to do that. You can choose to not use plastic. Do your work. If you believe it, then live it that way. And if not, then tell me what the solution is.
And I think only 9% worldwide are actually recycled.
That's why I say that we should focus more on recycling. Because if you can tell me you're for recycling, then maybe we can work to something. Because a while ago you did say you wasn't against all of it, because you got to be realistic, but you're against single use because that's what the chairman asked you. And so if you're for against single use, then you must be for recycling.
No, because it doesn't work.
Well, then that doesn't make any sense at all.
Okay.
Because you can't exist without plastic today. I just see a lot of people having a thought process because it sounds good, but no one's actually living by what you believe.
I don't have any single-use plastics in my house.
You know that for a fact?
I know that for a fact.
Well, I would suggest you maybe doing your homework a little bit more when you come up here and you start talking about this stuff, that you actually understand what it is, the impact that you're talking about.
I do my homework. I do understand the impact.
can't-
I do know I'm wasting my time recycling because most of it's not recycled.
Then
And that's because of the industry. And the fact
Okay.
that plastic is in everything is because the industry forced us to have it.
quit using plastics.
Well, the industry should stop making them.
Quit using them. If you feel that way, then
I
quit.
do. I just told you I do not have single-use plastic bottles in my house. I
But
do what
you're
I
against-
can.
Hold on a second. You're against all plastic, but you have plastic all around you. So if you're against plastic, then don't use it. Live by what you're saying. There's a lot of people around here that I disagree with, but if you'd live it,
I do live
I
it.
respect it. Ma'am, you don't, because you have plastic on your face, you have plastic on the water bottle, you have plastic on your
I
feet,
do
you have
not
plastic on
own
your
companies to create these things. So I cannot make these things. But until they are available, we're stuck with some things. I do what I can. My name is Angèle Bradford, and as you've said before, I'm a volunteer with the Delta chapter of the Sierra Club and also a doctoral candidate earning my degree in cardiovascular physiology. I love my life in South Louisiana, as my family has been in South Louisiana and Mississippi for generations, though it is a complicated life where basic human rights are always being challenged. In December of just last year, ExxonMobil Baton Rouge announced plans to double their capacity in polypropylene plastics, increasing the Gulf Coast capacity to 450,000 metric tons per year. Per Defend Our Health's recent study, PET, or polyethylene terephthalate, I've practiced that so many times, plastic releases 1,4-dioxane, an industrial solvent and carcinogen during production into drinking water. It can damage cells in the liver, kidney, and respiratory system. Their study also spoke to 150 chemicals out of 193 that they looked at that leach from our plastic bottles into the water or beverage that any one of us are drinking. As we discover chemicals produced from plastic processes, we recognize their power to damage organs and cells. Often, any given person does not live next to or breathe the air of just one plant's emissions. There may be multiple plants clustered together. And any one of us exposed to the water and discharges of that plant is also drinking from soil that has been contaminated, or swimming in polluted waters, or eating food from soil. I already said that, sorry. It has historically been difficult to study the cumulative effects of polluted air, soil, and water at the same time, particularly because of it is unethical within the lab context to just give people plastics-derived carcinogens and chemicals and see what happens. But also, people move and have different exposures and stressors that complicate understanding of disease processes. But nonetheless, exposure over time means increased likelihood of chronic diseases in addition to cancer. When we think about life in this country, something we often debate, we need to also think about the dignity of life we are offering when we are allowing these companies to carelessly raise our healthcare costs and poison our people. While some folks may see oil and gas on the one hand and plastics on the other as very different issues that require different solutions, I see them as one and the same. That is, the same companies reaping profits from all ends of the supply chain, from cradle to grave of their products and of our bodies. And I'm left to wonder, to which part of the plastics life cycle, to the oil and gas industry, are we ready to sacrifice our dreams and our lives? I am no longer willing to offer up my life for any more industries, and the plastics industry must be stopped with no exceptions.